Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain. Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. Sorry I'm late and I'm not even on the live over here yet. So welcome in, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? We have a new setup. If you guys haven't been able to tell, we've got things switched around, turned around, moved around. And there's the dog moving around too. So, but if you're new to the channel, you have no idea. You're like, whatever. I have no idea what's going on. So let me just make sure everything is up to par. Let me make sure we're doing good. Can you hear me okay? Everybody can hear me all right? Okay. I think you guys can. I'm just trying to get you guys the chat pulled up over here on my iPad. That way I can see you guys. It was saying, like right now, it's saying that I like streamed 53 minutes ago, which I didn't. We're all here. We all see it. So welcome in. Let's see who's here tonight. I saw Dawn was in here. earlier. Hopefully he's still here. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Kitsy Cats. Hey, Casey. How you doing? Welcome in. Let's see if I can try this again, if it'll let me go to the live. It's still saying like 53 minutes ago. That is so weird. And I like completely go out of it. I'm going to show you guys. This is so weird. Hey, Mary Beth. Hey, Cuff You. This is a very this is a hard case because I think we all know that Ellen didn't do this to herself. There's no way in the world that this woman could have 20 plus stab wounds to yourself. I don't think so. I couldn't do it one time. I don't know what's going on with this. This is so weird. Like it won't even let me go in. Like whatever then. That's fine. That's just perfectly fine. It's a new setup. It's a new day. So, if it doesn't happen to be like the perfect live and perfect structured live, that's probably why. Today's perfect fall weather. Oh, I thought you said it's first day of fall. Actually, it is past fall now. I'm like, oh, what day is it? Oh, it's cute. I love trunk or treat. I was actually talking to Vincent about that earlier. We have where we live, they do like trunk or treat here because we live in a big apartment. For some reason they don't have the kids go to like door to door, which kind of sucks, in a way, because I understand it because some people don't want to give candy, some people do, but and then each building only has like 8 units in it, so it'd be hard to see, but I wanted to do it. You got the pumpkin candles burning. Oh, is Ladybug not in here? I've got this pumpkin behind me lit up. She got that for me for my birthday. It's a really pretty pumpkin. We had to kind of rig it up. That little thing was not wanting to light today. And I was like, I know it's got lights in it. So we got it to go. So if she watches this on a replay, we'll have to tell her. She'll probably come in at 9:15. Hey, Tony. Hey, Lenora. I think she doesn't have me on all notifications on her phone or something. I think that's what it is. Oh, it's Thanksgiving in Canada. Oh, well, look at that. Listening while cooking. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. What do you make? Do you make the same stuff that we do over here? The turkey, the gravy, the stuffing. My mom, of course, had to make mashed potatoes and corn just as 2 sides for myself because that's all I would eat. My brother makes casseroles. They're a casserole family. They do all those little different casseroles. I'm not a casserole person, but I've heard that they're delicious. Vincent eats them all the time. He loves them. And sorry, I needed an extra minute. I'm like, I need another minute. Hey, Holly Adams. Happy Sunday. And I think I'm going to have to lower the camera, maybe. I don't know. So because some of the comments, I think it's taken off my face a little bit. But I don't care if you guys don't care. See this big comment? It's not that bad. It's fine. If we have Vincent in here anymore today, that poor guy. Hey, Angel. Hey, Wolfie. He was like, do you want me to fix your setup for you? Sure. We got Angel in here. There's Dawn. Dawn's still here. You didn't know a lot about this? Yeah, this one's a crazy case. Hey, Play Nice. Well, we're going to find a lot of stuff out. I've got a lot to go over. We've done this probably we've went over her case a few different times. But we're going to really dive deep. We're going to start with so tonight when I'm done with this live, I'm going to watch the 3rd episode of the docuseries and have that out finally, because I've been saying that for like a week now. And I've been wanting to watch it. I swear I haven't had a moment. It seems like the last couple of days. But I'm going to get that out on Patreon for you. So that's what kind of sparked this case to come up again in my mind, because we went over her case within the last probably 6 to 8 months. We usually cover about that on the channel. And her name is Ellen Greenberg. Actually, let me just pull up a picture. It'll be a little easier. If you guys don't mind, while I'm doing that, will you take a second and hit the like button for your girl? And if you're not subscribed to the channel, we'd love to have you. We talk true crime every night, whatever case we want to talk about, which is great. But this is beautiful Ellen Greenberg. As soon as I saw her, I thought she was the prettiest girl, her and Shannon Gilbert. I thought those two, when I saw them, their pictures, I thought they were just like stunning. Something about them stunning. Thank you. Thank you, Holly. Yeah, we just did the background within the last year, I think. I think I might need to hang this up a little higher now. Like the macrame. I'm like, I think it needs to be a little higher. But welcome on in. 11 bruises. And they were all in different stages of healing. Very, very weird. So I'm going to put her picture up. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her case, and I'm going to go through a couple pictures that I have of her up, just a few. I just have a few up here. But this is one of the most confusing cases that I've covered on this case. Actually, it's probably one of the most controversial cases I've covered on this case as well. But this is the death. This is going to be the death of Ellen Greenberg. This case has been debated for over a decade. And honestly, the more you learn about it, the less it makes sense to you. 20 stab wounds, and it was ruled the S word. I'm just saying the S word because, we're good in there. I think I could probably say it. Suicide. But yeah, you heard that right. They decided to rule it as suicide. So basically, who Ellen was, a little bit about her. She was a lot more than just this paragraph I'm going to read off to you. But Ellen Greenberg was a 27-year-old first grade teacher. She lived in Philadelphia with her fiance. Everyone who knew her knew she was kind, upbeat, and loved her students. She was engaged, like I said, to Sam Goldberg, and they were in the middle of planning their wedding. She was actually, I believe, the day that this happened, she was getting ready to send out the save the dates for her wedding. So she had, things to look forward to. She was excited about, getting married. She was excited about, the friends that she had, the family she had, the future she had, just everything she had. She had a good job, although it was stressing her, with the student load. I think that she overall really enjoyed her job. But then came January 26th, 2011. That afternoon, Ellen had left work early because there was a snowstorm. So when the snow started coming in, they closed down all the area schools in Philadelphia. It was really bad snowstorm. So she went home to her apartment. She was really excited that she was going to, be off early for the day. She went home. She shared this apartment with her fiance, Sam. Little while after, Sam left and he went to the gym's. I should have got a picture of this. I do have a picture of it, but he went downstairs to the gym's building, or the building's gym. I'm sorry. That was backwards. The building's gym, and went to work out. When he came back up, the door was locked from the inside with the swing bar. That little latch that you can only lock from like the inside of rooms, like hotel rooms. If you're at like a hotel room, that latch. He said that he texted and he called her several times, no answer. He went down to the concierge, tried to get help, but they no longer, go back up to people's apartments with them. So all in all, he broke the door down, he said, and that's when he found her. Ellen was slumped on the kitchen floor, leaning up against the cabinets, with the knife still lodged in her chest. You can hear it in the 911 call when he does call. There was blood on the floor, on the counter, and even splattered up the cabinets. She had 20 stab wounds to the back of her neck, torso, and 10 more cuts, smaller, more shallow ones, including on her scalp and stomach. Very weird. At first, police treated it like it was a homicide. I mean, hello, with this many wounds, you kind of would have to. But then the medical examiner performed the autopsy. I believe it was the first one was Dr. Osborne. And this is where, it gets wilder. Despite those multiple stab wounds, some going through her spinal cord, Ellen's death was officially ruled a suicide. I mean, look at the scalp wound on her, her head. I can't even imagine the pain that she went through in her final moments. And there's just in my brain does not compute that this woman could do this to herself 20 different times. If it was like maybe a few different times, one fatal, okay, but Joseph Scott Morgan said some of these injuries, she would have severed her spinal cord, and so she wouldn't have been able to move in order to keep continuing to stab herself. Sorry, I was grabbing my drink. But authorities said that the door being locked from the inside meant no one else could have gotten in, even though we all know that those doors, you know, I guess like, oh, let me leave her up here. But we all know those doors, you can unlock them. I've watched YouTube after YouTube video now on it because people were like, when I covered this case the first night, people were saying you can, you know, get those unlocked. And I'm like, but how? Because like I used to stay in a hotel and I'm like, what do you mean? That's what keeps me protected. But that's exactly the kind of lock it was. When he supposedly knocked in the door, the way that the door latch is still like, it's still on the door. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Well, hello, Ashley. Yeah. You can engage the lock from the outside. That's crazy. Yeah. After she died. Yeah, Granger. Yeah. Yeah. But she resurrected and came back and just did that. I mean, I can't even imagine. And I've shown the knife. I have it in my kitchen. And every time I look at it, which is, you know, pretty often, I open that drawer and I see it. I think of Ellen Greenberg every single time. Because it's the same exact Cutco knife. I mean, and then the knives were in the sink and was like, what? She's gripping a white towel with her hand, and there's nothing on it. There's just so many questions. Okay. There's so many questions. So we're going to get to it. I wanted to read over the report of death investigation because I thought that would be pretty important. And then we're going to go over her first autopsy. Okay, there it is. Okay. And then we'll go over so some of this stuff I'm no medical expert. I read this out before and it was pretty funny, I think, because, you know, just for the fact that I don't know the words. That was the only funny part about it. Ellen would have probably been like, Tanya, really? Like seriously, and I went to school for for nursing for like a semester, and I did great in word terminology, but not these words. So we're going to go over what they were like, what it means in layman's terms. I got that layman's terms for us. So, and then I can always put it in the chat too. I can put these links if you guys want to ever, you know, look it up. If you guys ever want a link to something, let me know. I'm going to try to pull this back up on this iPad one more time. If not, I'm going to throw it. Just kidding. I'm not going to throw it. It's just like crazy. It's saying that we already streamed. Are we in the future? Yeah, it's still saying that. That is so weird. I wonder if that's saying that for other people. I don't know. That's okay. Hit the like button. That way I'll know. That's so crazy. I don't know why it's not letting me even go in there. Okay, let me share this again. Okay, there we go. I never use this. Okay. Oh, whoa. I think that went in too much, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. So we can read it. So I can read it to you guys. And then we'll go over the autopsy. I don't know if I've actually ever went over this on any of the previous lives. I just actually found it today and I was like, oh, because we went over the autopsy reports and stuff like that. But I don't think we've really went over this. I'll tell you in just one moment because I saw it right before the live. And I was like, oh, I should read that to you guys. And then we'll go over some of the other stuff too, like what Sam was doing. Okay. Actually, maybe I should. Yeah. Okay. I have a really good article to read you guys too. I'll read that next time. Okay. I was just wondering, like, which one should we do? So when we're done doing the reading, there is a video that I want you guys to watch with me. The docuseries was called Death. It's called Death in Apartment 603. And Forbes got the director of that docuseries to come on and do like a podcast interview with her. And so it's just like everything that doesn't add up in the case. So we'll go over that as well. But it just says here, you know, Ellen Greenberg up at the top, place of death, 4601 Flat Rock Road, Unit 603. Date of death, January 26th, 2011 at 6:40 p.m. Pronounced by Medic 5. And then it says employer, school district, Philadelphia. She's a teacher. She was 27 years old, white female. She was born June 23rd, 1983. 2 years older than me. That's sad. That's really sad. And then hospital request, autopsy, no, because they didn't take her to the hospital. So the decedent's, it says circumstances. The decedent's fiance, Samuel Goldberg, and he comes from an affluent family. I just want to put that out there. His uncle is a lawyer, a prominent lawyer. So just throwing that out there. But Samuel Goldberg, date of birth, 1/28/1982, reportedly left the decedent around 1640, went to the gym. He returned around 17:15 to 17:30 and was unable to get into the apartment. The door was secure from the inside. He proceeded to contact the decedent via text message, telephone calls, and emails for approximately an hour before he forced entry into the apartment. He immediately discovered her and called 911. He was briefly instructed to start CPR until he noticed a knife in her chest. Then he stopped. He didn't even start. He said, "Do I have to?" Or "I guess I have to," or something like along those lines. Like, I know that no one probably wants to do CPR in a situation that they have, you know what I mean, when they're put in that situation. But if my loved one is laying there, like if Vincent was laying on the floor, how do I do it? That's all. Just how do I do it? My name's Tanya, unconscious. How do I start CPR? That would be me. Like, we don't have time to talk. But you know, everyone, I mean, I guess everyone does things differently, but I'm just saying. Thank you, Play Nice, for the super sticker. I appreciate that. I wish I could heart it. Well, actually, I could probably go over here. Maybe it'll let me. Do you like those little things? Oh, look. Try and get me out of my thing. I'll just go over here to, I'll just go to the other side. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. There's Ladybug. Okay, just got to remove this for a minute so I can show Ladybug. Look what I got back here. Look how pretty that is. I wish it was like more focused, but it's focusing on me. We got a new setup going here. So Ladybug got me that pumpkin for my birthday. It's like the perfect gift, you know. Like, I'm an October baby, a pumpkin. So I put it back there. Yeah, hopefully you saw it. But yeah. So we did some new stuff. We did some new stuff with the place. Yeah, of course, Cuffew. titaniumbuiltboo@gmail.com. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hey, Bullets and Bling. Where you been? It's really pretty, yes. So it wouldn't light at first. So then Vincent figured it out. He did some stuff. I was like, "Don't you electrocute yourself." I was like, "I know this thing lights up." It did. It lit up. It looks so pretty. It's going to look pretty with all the lights out. Like, I'm going to have to turn the lights out. I'm going to take it out. I'll have to take it out there and do it. Okay. So this is just the death investigation. This is what we were reading a minute ago. But it says here that, where did I read? Where are we reading from? Okay, right here. We read that. He stopped. So then the decedent is found supine in the kitchen with her head and some of her upper body / shoulders resting against the lower half of the kitchen cabinets. There is a knife embedded in her left chest through her clothing. The decedent has multiple stab wounds at the chest where the knife is located. A few superficial grouped nearby, one to the left upper chest near the clavicle, two more at the mid chest between and just below the breast. She is clad in a zipper up shirt over top a t-shirt, sweatpants, underwear, and Ugg boots. There are defects to the shirt consistent with the underlying wounds. Blood is present on the head, in the hair, on the front of the shirts, along her pants, on the front side, and on the top of both of her boots. put you guys over here, actually. This would be so much better because then I can see you. There we go. Here we go. Since it's being a little difficult. Hey, Renee. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to see everyone. Thank you. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Let me know if you like the camera like in that position too. It's very new. Like it's very just like the very new setup. So this is just crazy. So it says blood is present on the head, in the hair, on the front side of the shirts, along her pants, on the front side, and on the top of both of her boots. I'm going to read that again. Blood is present on the head, in the hair, on the front side of the shirt, along her pants, on the front side, and on the top of both of her boots. But there's nothing on the back side? Maybe we just haven't got there yet. That's weird. I mean, she was just stabbing herself in the back. There should be stuff back there. The blood, the right boot has blood on the sole. The blood around her is generally confined to the area of the body on the floor underneath and on the cabinets behind her. 2 separate drops on the granite countertops above. A few kitchen knives are in the sink adjacent to the body. There is no evident blood. A knife block is on the counter, turned over to the side. Also no evidence of blood. The knife in her body is consistent with the knife set found in the sink and in the block. The lock, a common solid bar door guard, is broken, obviously forced in, consistent with the fiance's report. Let me get that picture. I feel like I should show you the picture if I can find it real quick. I mean, I know I have it. Maybe just go up to the top. Okay. Here it is. This to me, I don't know. I don't know how this would even really work. How did he get this to swing over? I mean, it's like it's out of there. Oops, what'd I do? I was trying to like zoom in. I don't know if I can. I don't think I can. So like under here is broke, but these screws back here are still like in there. And so is this one in the front. It's still like in the door. And I don't even know if this one's all the way out. You would think that those screws would have to come out in order for that swing lock to come undone. Right? And I'm thinking this is just me. If Ellen was really trying to keep Sam out of the apartment, like let's say that was her mindset, right? Why wouldn't she deadbolt the lock too? Right? Obviously, I don't think he had keys with him when he went to the gym. He probably just left his keys at home. Who takes their keys to the gym with them, really? I mean, if you're just going downstairs and you have your fiance at the house, wouldn't take mine. Well, maybe I would because I use my headphones. But I mean, you know. I don't even know where okay, so let's go back over here. It says the lock, a common, okay, I already read that, but, consistent with the fiance's report, the lock. There is no evidence of a struggle in the kitchen area or anywhere else in the apartment. There are numerous valuables present, including 3 laptop computers. Nothing is missing. There is no note found. Well, normally when someone commits suicide, they leave a note. And that's a big thing for me. I don't see Ellen doing this and not leaving a note. For Sam, for her parents, for her friends, even for her students almost maybe. Like, it's crazy to me. So then it says a paper booklet is in the decedent's pocketbook, resembles a journal of medications and her state of mind. Last dated 1/16. The only way to exit the apartment is the front doorway locked is through a rear slider leading to a patio. The patio is 6 stories high. There is snow present with no tracks or footprints, completely undisturbed. So she was on alprazolam. Isn't that Xanax? Hold on a second. She was on both of those. Hold on. Isn't that what that is? Yeah, Xanax XR. So they had her on. Oh wait, I didn't switch it back over there. I thought it did. No, it didn't switch back though. Okay, sorry about that. That's insanity to me. Now if I go catch myself up, there we go. Now I can. There we go. Now I can see this where we're at on the live. No, I can't because I just went to my page. Okay. We'll get this. We'll be there with this new setup. Just give me a couple days. Okay, so she was on. Wow, that's a heavy concoction. I've never heard. Who is Dr. Ellen Berman? And there's her phone number. I'm gonna call her and ask her if she has any appointments. Just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Because seriously, okay, so they had her on Xanax and then Klonopin. Both are a benzodiazepine. And when her toxicology comes back, she doesn't have Xanax in her system. And then zolpidem. What? I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to look that up. Is that like a sleeping med? Or it's probably a antidepressant. Oh, it treats insomnia. Ambien. So, wow. Ambien. They used to prescribe a heavy back in the early, the early 2010s, I would say. But, that's a pretty heavy sleeping medicine I've heard. Like, my friend was on Ambien and she couldn't drive or nothing. She don't get her behind the wheel on this. If it was an emergency, she couldn't go. Like, she just couldn't drive. So it says the meds were recovered from the bedroom drawer. I wonder if they counted the medication and saw how many were missing and counted the days. I'm curious, That's a lot, yeah. Maybe, yeah, Casey, you're right. She could have, yeah. Yeah, that could have been like an old script because she did say she didn't like the way that the medicine was like messing with her. But I could see that if she was taking both of these, not knowing that they're both an anti-anxiety medication and not just like a simple one. They're heavily addicting. So it's a scene report. Okay, photos, interviews, and identification. And then it just says here, 12711, homicide, Detective Sierra and Peters notified of the death. The knife recovered during examination, signed over to homicide Detective Sierra, and then receipt is in case file. And then the psychiatrist Ellen Berman, record subpoenaed, placed in case file. And then it says the identification was completed. What? I didn't know about this. Sam didn't call them and say anything like, hold on, let's see. Maybe they did. Okay. It says the identification was completed via telephone by the decedent's parents, Joshua and Sandra Greenberg. They were notified of the death by the parents, of the decedent's fiance. So Sam's parents called Ellen's parents and said, Ellen is dead. Why didn't, I know that Sam was very upset, but that's a phone call that I think a fiance would make. Yeah, Ashley, yeah. Because it wasn't her system because she stopped taking it. That's probably why. Because I know that she didn't like the way that they made her feel, but that's crazy to me. Okay. So the mom states she talked to the last time she talked to Ellen, The decedent, the same day at 0700 when they were both on their way to work. They had a pleasant conversation. She gave no indication that something was intimately wrong. The decedent was or has been battling issues with anxiety since the end of last year. Mom states she was struggling with something for which she urged her to seek help. She was seeing a psychiatrist, Ellen Berman, in Marion Station. The decedent, as described, as anxious, insecure, not sure of herself, and not liking how she felt, characteristics that were not the norm her entire life. I'm just going to say it. She had bruising in all stages of healing. I don't know why that would happen, but for her to have that and then feel like that, like feel like she's like her mom saying that she was anxious, insecure, not sure about herself, not liking the how she felt, like characteristics that weren't, normal for her. I don't know. The decedent expressed to family that she was a bit overwhelmed with her classroom work. The decedent's occupation is a teacher for the school district of Philadelphia, currently teaching at Uwana Academy Elementary School, employed for 3 years. She is described as a bright woman who was very successful and recently received her master's degree in education and certified in reading specialty. I like that. Hey, Doodlebug. Let me see. Or was I? Sorry. It says she is described as a bright woman who was very successful and recently received her master's degree in education and certified in reading specialty. The day the incident occurred is the same day that school grades were to be handed in. She may have been stressed about the schoolwork, as she is described as very caring for her students. Well, did she hand in her grades? I'm wondering. Or did they give them another day to do it because they got out for snow that day? I mean, I would like to know that. Because if she handed her grades in, I think that's a, I'm going to go with, she wouldn't have handed her grades in if she thought she was going to be dead by the end of the day. Right? Like, and if that's what it was about, like the schoolwork and the caseload, and I mean, she had a good standing at her school. I think she could tell them if she was overwhelmed a little bit. But the decedent was in a committed relationship with Sam Goldberg. They had been together for 3 years, recently engaged over the summer. The parents have no reservations about their relationship. They described the fiancé, Sam, as a fine young man. They were happy to have him as an in-law. They have no knowledge of any verbal or physical abuse. The parents deny any previous suicide attempts or ideations. The incident is a surprise to them despite her issues with anxiety. And that's the end of it there. Sorry. So, she was dealing, it seems like she was dealing with a little bit of stuff at school like that. We're all dealing with something, right? Like, I don't think that that's going to be like automatically I'm going to go and harm myself, right? I just don't think that. I know. That's the one thing, Laura, I feel so bad because I know that her dad was like, don't quit. And she didn't want to let her parents down. Yeah. That's the only thing that's the only part. But then it's like after she gets out of school, she goes and she fills up her gas tank. I don't know. Maybe she was completely on E and she had like no miles to go. Right. And that's why she put gas in her car. There could be a reason for that. But it's so crazy. The wounds, And then this is a different kind of form. I love this because you can't even read it really. That's okay. It's just the way that you guys could probably read it. It's probably just me. It's just the way that the writing is. Like if it's not, I don't know, super big, I guess. Maybe I just do that a couple more times. We'll get there. And they do have that book that someone made for them of Sam and Ellen and stuff. And they showed it on the docuseries. That docuseries is so good. Oh my goodness, it is really good. Like her parents are just, they're wonderful. You could tell that they are wonderful people. Now I don't know how they were as parents, growing up with them. I don't know if they were easy parents, hard parents. Look to be maybe a little bit on the more of the sterner side, or but we all have those parents. Like your parents are your parents. I just feel so bad for them. So we're going to go through the medical examiner's form. We're going to go through the first autopsy today, and then we'll go. There's been three conducted, or three over three. There's been three performed or whatever. One of them, I believe, or the last two maybe, were just. I don't know if they actually viewed the body in the last two. I'm going to look that up actually, because she was buried 2 days after, because she's Jewish, and that's what they do in the Jewish custom. So I don't know if they were looking over notes, because it's been a while since I've read the other two autopsies. I was actually reading I was reading all three earlier, and I got through like half of it, and I was like, what is it? What am I doing? I didn't even realize I was doing that. Yeah. And I think that she probably had, like Casey was saying, I think that she probably they probably prescribed her the Xanax first. That's what I'm gonna guess. I'm just gonna guess that, because she told her mom she didn't like the way that the pills were making her feel. So I'm thinking she was taking the Xanax and then the Ambien, and I was making her extremely tired, and she was probably maybe being a little forgetful. If you've ever been prescribed it in either of those medications, you know that they can make you like forget a little bit here and there. I think she probably said, hey, I don't like the way these make me feel. Do you think that we could switch the medications, right? Like, and she probably said, is the Ambien working for you to sleep? And she probably said, yeah. And then they switched the dose from the Xanax to the Klonopin, and probably put her on the Klonopin, which to me, it's like, why didn't you start with Ativan? Like, start with something that's like on the lowest of the benzos. I don't know. I mean, you straight went to the Xanax. Like, this woman was just stressed out a little bit about work. What else that's all we've ever known anyway. And everything we've ever heard is, like, she said really good things about Sam to her psychiatrist. So it's like, if I went to my psychiatrist, right? I'm just saying, and I just said, I'm stressed out a little bit about work, they wouldn't be putting me on no benzodiazepines. They would be like, good luck. Thanks, Ladybug. So it says here, Ellen Greenberg, of course, 27 years old, female, white, 5'7", 136. Wow, it's like my same size too. Medic at 5 pronounced, and that was January 26, 2011 at 6:40 p.m. Now it says ID witness name, Joshua Greenberg. So I don't know if he was there during the autopsy, or if he's the one that maybe came in and identified her. But I'm going to say that's probably what that means. Witness name, Joshua Greenberg, was probably her dad coming in to identify her. No parent should have to ever, I don't care how old their babies are, they're always their babies, should not have to go into a morgue where it's freaking cold and it's depressing. There's no windows. There's no life down there because it's a freaking morgue. The only, there's no life at all, not even little bugs, because they keep it so cold. And he had to go down there and, I'm in my feels. So call me Nancy tonight. I feel like I'm Nancy. I'm like so mad about it. But I mean, really, like, that's so sad. I'm glad that Josh did that. And, I'm sure he told his wife probably not to, she didn't probably want to see that. So there's multiple stab wounds to the chest, abdomen, and back of neck. I don't know how to pronounce these words very well, so we're gonna go through something that's going to tell us exactly what it means. But the knife, 12.5 centimeter blade, is present in one of the chest wounds at a depth of 10 centimeters. Only 10 centimeters. That doesn't seem very. Wow. Multiple contusions on upper and lower extremities in various stages of resolution. So, I mean, I don't know. Are you walking into tables? Maybe. Actually, hold up. I'm going to say maybe on that, okay? Because now that I'm thinking about it, she did work in a school where there are a lot of desks, and those desks are about thigh high, between your thigh and your knee. You may run into desk and bruise easily, right? I know that when I was a teenager, I worked at a pizza place and I bruised my legs all the time because I would run into the tables. Just run into them. I was very clumsy, I guess. So, I mean, I'm not going to rule it out, but I'm just going to say that could be what it is. And maybe even like playing with the kids or something, like recess. But it says cause of death, multiple stab wounds. And then this is Marlon Osborne. So this is his first autopsy. Other significant conditions, doesn't have nothing. Manner of death, homicide. Okay. And then an autopsy was performed on the body of the decedent, and it was started at approximately 9 a.m. The internal examination was started at approximately 11 a.m. The clothing that accompanies the decedent consists of gray/purple hooded sweatshirt, gray sweatpants, and brown boots. The body is that of a 5'7", 136 pound white female who appears compatible with reported age of 27 years. The atraumatic or turmeric scalp is covered in brown hair or by brown hair. The facial bones have no palpable fractures. The irids are brown. The scalera, can't say it, are white. Can't say it very well. The conjunctive have no petechiae. I think I'm saying that wrong. I'm just trying to read this print is terrible. The external artery measures. I don't. Okay, we're gonna be lost with that one. I'm gonna have to put it in the. I think anyone can probably read this better than me.
Why meet LSE?
It didn't even tell me what it says. Okay, have no discharge. That was so crazy. It didn't even tell me what it said. We're gonna read this actually somewhere else, so it'll help too. But the nasal bones and nasal spectrum or septum are intact. The lips are aturmeric. The oral cavity has no injuries. The tongue has no injuries. The teeth are natural and in good repair. I think if I was stabbing myself, I'm just saying this, I think that my tongue would have injuries. I do think that. I think I would have probably bit it before, like one of the times. And I think my teeth would have injury to them. I do. I mean, that's just me. Where are we at? It says the teeth are natural and in good repair. The neck is symmetrical or symmetric. The chest is symmetric. The abdomen is flat. The body habeas is mesomorphic. The back is symmetric. The upper and lower extremities have no deformities or fractures. The external genitalia are those of an adult female. The anus and I can't read that word, have no trauma or abnormalities. So no trauma. Okay. Now she has a lot of different wounds. I'm just going to read them off to you, and then we're going to go to another page and we're going to read them better. So she's got, I'm going to count them. So chest wounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stab wounds to the chest. Think that would have probably done it. Probably won't. I mean, we probably didn't even need to do 8, right? You're not going to, I just can't tell me nothing else different about this case when it comes to like women. I wonder what we should look it up. The statistics on women using knives to commit suicide. Like, I just want to tell me to go call my local shelter. Oops, where okay. It's not readily available. It's uncommon method that accounts for only a small percentage of all suicides, approximately 1.6 to 3%. And it says that studies on sharp force suicide generally show that the chest is the common location of fatal stab wounds. Well, that's not where she started. I was seeing if there's any other things that it would tell us, but yeah, we might look into that. That sounds interesting. Me too. I find it very hard to believe. See, right, Casey? That's what most women do. They use like poisoning pills like that. Like they'll do an overdose. Right, Kathy? That's what it is. Like they don't want to look bad. They don't want someone to have to clean up after them. That's like a thing like in a woman's psyche, right? We think even if we're going to do that, we're still thinking into the future. Like, oh, someone's going to have to clean this up. Like that's just how it is. I think that's one of the reasons why women don't do that. And plus, that's really painful to be stabbing yourself 20 times. So now we're going to go move on to the abdomen. We have 1 stab wound to the abdomen. Then incised wound on scalp. And then we have 1, 2, 3 on the neck, 4 on the neck, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why would you be stabbing yourself in the neck? I mean, I could see somebody else doing that, trying to hit like an artery or something, but. And then it says other injuries. The upper arm has a round 3 by 7 centimeter contusion. The right forearm has a 3 by 1.5 centimeter area of 3 round contusions. Just contusions everywhere. 3 round contusions. I mean, there's a lot. That's on her stump. The right thigh. Hold on. So the right upper arm, the right forearm, the right lower quadrant of the abdomen, and the right thigh above the right knee are 3 round contusions. It's all on the right side. Is she me? Did she lose? No, like I'm being serious though, because I'm blind on that side. I run into everything, but I don't get bruises. But it is all on one side. I'm just wondering what she was doing to get it all on one side like that. Because if someone's beating you, they normally don't care where they're. I mean, if they want to hide it, like hide the bruising, right? They'll do that, but they normally don't care if it's left or right or center. So that's just, to me, I don't think that's like somebody doing that. It's almost like she fell. But like they're all in different stages of healing. Did she fall more than once? I'm telling you, you're going to be so confused by the end of this live. Yeah, it's typically not an instant death. Yeah, Laura. Oh, you guys are so sweet to each other. I'm sorry, I was reading the chat. You guys are just the best. So then we've got the firm brown muscles of the anterior neck have no hemorrhage or injuries. The adjacent connective tissue and vessels of the anterior aspects of the cervical spine are unremarkable. The clavicles, sternum, and pelvic bones have no fractures. The hyoid bone and thyroid cartilage are intact. The peritonal, I can't read, like, is this like supposed to be an O? An N cavity has no adhesions. Okay, we're going to read this somewhere else. It's going to be a lot more easier for us. So I'm going to keep going down for a minute. Is this the end of the report? No, it's not. So it's going to show okay, yeah, it does show these. So it's going to show some of the injuries to her. I just want to give you guys like a warning. I'm going to take it back so we're not like, oh, sorry, we're not on 100 or we're not on 500 Zoom. But this is from Dr. Osborne again. And he's the assistant medical examiner, apparently. Okay, so it just shows like the bruising. See, this one's darker than these here, like the two back there. Now, okay, could she have been sleepwalking on the Ambien? Or let's say this, not sleepwalking per se, but like let's say because I'm on a sleeping medication, and if I wake up in the middle of the night and I just sit up really fast, I'll get dizzy. But what if something like that was happening where she was just going to the bathroom in the middle of the night and she wasn't really remembering it because she's on this medication and she's like running into stuff? Maybe there was just something to her right that she just kept hitting. I mean, I don't know. It's really sad. It's just those three pictures there, just showing the bruising. Okay. So this is the findings from the first homicide. We'll go through them because this is like so much easier to read, and then we'll watch that program. Okay. So, and then on our next live that we do this over, we'll go through the second autopsy and go through some of Sam's statements. We'll listen to the 911 call that he made that night. We'll go through anything you guys can think of that you want to go through next. And because we've got, I mean, there's a ton of information. You guys are all so sweet. Hey, PKC. Casey, I'm glad that you found us. We're glad you're here. So January 27th, 2011 at 9 a.m., the autopsy report of Ellen R. Greenberg was conducted at the Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office. On January 27th, 2011, list the cause of death as multiple stab wounds and the manner of death as homicide. The key findings in this autopsy were multiple stab wounds to the chest, abdomen, and back of the neck, an incised wound on the right occipital. Let's see. We're going to have it tell us. See, I still can't read even if it's in good English.
Occipital.
I still can't say it. Occipital scalp. You know what I'm trying to say. I can't even say it. My tongue is not letting me. Injuries affecting major internal structures, including aortic arch, upper lobe of the left lung, liver, cervical, spinal cord, level C2 and C3 level. So she punctured her spinal cord. Presence of bilateral hemothorax, blood in both chest cavities. I wonder if that's how she died. Like if it was from the actual knife wound, right? Because it was only what they said, like 3 centimeters. I'm gonna have to look again because I can't remember exactly. Wait, right here, 12 centimeters with a blade length. Or no, that's the blade length. Okay, of 12.5 centimeters. It still doesn't seem like that much. Because like that'll do it. Having blood in your lungs. Bruising, contusions on the upper and lower extremities, indicating possible prior trauma. The internal examination, no fractures of the facial bones, clavicles, sternum, or pelvic bones. No injuries to the tongue or oral cavity, which might suggest a lack of defensive struggle. Normal heart and coronary arteries. I don't know if that would actually suggest a lack of struggle. I think that biting your tongue could be either way, you know, like if you're stabbing yourself, you could bite your tongue to try to like put the pain somewhere else. So then we had normal heart and coronary arteries. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that, so we'll see what it says.
Subarachnoid.
Presence of subarachnoid hemorrhage over the cerebellar hemisphere and vermis. No fractures to the skull base. Okay. No brain herniation. Notable observations: the depth and severity of the wounds, particularly those to the chest, neck, and spinal cord, would likely impair movement or self-inflicted reputation. The stab wounds to the back of the neck raise serious doubts about the possibility of suicide, as this location is difficult to reach. And it really is. I showed you how it is with that knife. I kind of wish I had it in here with me. I mean, it's big, it's long, and I don't see how she did that. I really don't. I really don't. Even if it was a smaller one, like a smaller knife, it would be really hard. The original ruling of suicide contradicts the later reclassification to suicide, which has sparked controversy in the case. Other findings: hemorrhaging in soft tissues, cause and manner of death. The autopsy concluded that the cause of death was multiple stab wounds, and the manner of death was initially classified as homicide. So then, detailed breakdown of each stab wound from Ellen Greenberg's autopsy report. So this is going to tell us what we couldn't read. Sorry. I don't know if you can hear my dog back here snoring, but she is. Sorry if you can hear her. So stab wound A, midline of the chest, 30 centimeters below the top of the head. The size of it was 4 centimeters by 2 centimeters. Depth, 2 centimeters. Pathway, front to back. Other findings: hemorrhaging in soft tissues. So then stab B, midline of the chest, 31 centimeters below the top of head. 0.3 centimeters by 0.3 centimeters. Depth, 2.2 centimeters. Front to back. Hemorrhaging in soft tissues. Other findings. So I'm just trying to see. Okay. Right side of the chest, 29 centimeters below the top of the head, 0.5 centimeters to the right of midline. And it's 2 centimeters by 0.6 centimeters. And the depth is 1.4 centimeters. That's a big jump from 0.2 to 0.2. And this pathway is slightly right to left, front to back, and slightly upward. Like this. Hemorrhaging in muscles of the right chest and beneath the right clavicle. Stab wound D, right side of the chest, 33 centimeters below the top of head, 2.7 centimeters to the right of midline. And it's 0.3 centimeters by 0.1 centimeter, and it's 0.2 centimeter depth. Front to back. This next one is location is left side of the chest, 33 centimeters below the top of head, 2.5 centimeters to the left of the midline. Now this one is 1.7 centimeters by 0.5 centimeters, but the depth is 10 centimeters. So you went from like, what was 1.4 centimeters all the way to 10. That's a big jump. It's just, And then it says right to left, front to back, slightly downward. These are like all going different directions. Is this like the lung? Okay, so the pleural or pleural cavity is the potential space between I can't even say it, the pleural sac that surrounds each lung. Oh, a small amount of, let me see real quick. I'm going to read this to you guys. Hopefully I can get this to work. But I think this is just like lung or stuff in her lungs, like the blood in her lungs.
Pleural cavity.
Oh, it's plural. Didn't know that. Didn't spell it the way we normally spell it over here. Come on, we don't spell plural like that. Not me. I only spell it one way. So stab wound F was, so this is going to be smaller again, midline of chest. And then the size of it is 0.6 centimeters to 0.2 centimeters by 0.2 centimeters. And it's 0.2 centimeters depth. The next one is going to be 0.6 centimeters by 0.2 centimeters and 0.2 centimeters deep. The next one, 1.5 centimeters by 5.5 centimeters, 4 centimeters depth. And then on this one, 2 to 3 centimeter deep incision in liver, internal bleeding in abdomen. So then we have another stab wound, and it's going to be 2 centimeters by 0.8 centimeters, 6 centimeters deep. And it's going to cause hemorrhaging in abdomen muscles and internal bleeding. Then she has the scalp wound, and it is the size of it 6.5 centimeters by 1.1 centimeters. And the depth is through the skin and the scalp. Clean and sized wound, it says. Okay, and then she has one posterior neck, 9 centimeters below the top of head, 2 centimeters to the left of midline. The size of this one is 2 centimeters by 0.2 centimeters. And the depth, 0.3 centimeters. And then it's hemorrhaging in soft tissue there. And then the next one, the size of this one is going to be 1.1 centimeter by 0.6 centimeter. And then the depth of it is 0.2 centimeters. Hemorrhaging soft tissue. That's the same for the next one. 0.2 centimeters by 0.1 centimeter. Depth, 0.3 centimeters. So it looks like there's only a few that were like, so far, like that were real deep. I mean, a lot of these are deep. They're deep enough to where you wouldn't do it again, in my opinion. And to do, okay, so if it was about her job and she was so overwhelmed about her job, I don't see her killing herself and then letting him find her, right? Like the man that she loves. Like if there's no problem in that relationship, that would have to be like, I don't know. To me, that's just, so I just don't see her doing that. I don't know. And it's not just me. Hey, Crime Kitty. Welcome in, everybody. It is so complex and unique, and I love it. That's what I love about it. Like, you know, just the like the mind, like the way we think and stuff. Like, I thought I heard Vincent say something. That's so weird. So then the next one is 0.2 centimeter by 0.1 centimeter, 0.3 centimeter depth. And then this one's hemorrhaging over cerebellum, small vessels, incision near cerebellum. Other findings, defect in ligamentum nuchae. I don't know how to say this. We'll say Nuki. Okay, I was not going to say that. Nuki. We need to go to medical school. I do after this. This one's 1.1 centimeter by 0.4 centimeter, and the depth is 8 centimeters. The next one, 1.1 centimeter by 6 centimeters. I'm sorry, by 0.6 centimeters. The depth, 3 centimeters. 1 centimeter by 0.3 centimeter. Depth 2.1 centimeter. There was just so many. 0.6 centimeters by 0.3 centimeters, and then it's 2 centimeters depth. The next one is 0.9 centimeters by 0.6 centimeters, 1.9 centimeters depth. The last one, well, it's just that was the last one. So 20 stab wounds across chest, abdomen, neck, and scalp. Several deep wounds penetrating major organs. Major neck wounds, some near the spinal cord and brainstem. Bruises on arms and legs, suggestive of prior trauma. And then this one, I think, is the one that we're going to go over tomorrow. Oh, that was fast. Let me see if there's anything different. It doesn't look like there is. Okay, that's weird. I'm going to go over that. So let's go over that. So the only thing that's different about this one, right as of right now, is the toxicology report. So you can see the benzodiazepine, she's -4, but down here it says clozapam. Under benzodiazepine confirmation. So I don't know why it wouldn't be in both spots, because if they're testing her up here, you would think that it would be in her blood. But no fentanyl, no opiates, no opiates in her urine or her blood. Which, why did you have to take it out of her urine if you're taking it out of her blood? And then the drug screen, and that was that. Then it says trace. So trace amounts. I don't know if that would mean like she was coming off of them, or she just had trace amounts left over from the night before. I'm not sure. I was trying to see if this said anything, but I don't think it does. Oh, it just says what they drug test for. Antihistamines, antidepressants, anticonvulsants, barbiturates, muscle relaxants, and non-steroid anti-inflammatory agents, benzodiazepine, sedative, hypnotics. Okay. Okay. Any positive results may be confirmed by another technique. Okay. And that was dated to 8/2011. Toxicologist Lisa Mundy. So she was, not doing anything illegal, no illegal substances, not for her. Which is crazy. Okay, let me refresh this page. Okay. So I think you guys will like this. If I can, if I share the right tab with you, that might help. But no, this case has actually been picking back up because of the docuseries that just came out, and everybody's just been talking about this case. Even people that don't cover it every day, we might not cover it every month. People still come back and they cover it, with every 6 months, every year. So it's always getting a new wave, I feel like, of people kind of watching it or, covering it. And I think it's always good to cover this case because there needs to be some things changed. And the first thing we can start with is that autopsy report. We can change it back to either homicide, which I don't necessarily think it should be homicide. I think it maybe should be undetermined until they bring in a whole new group of people that are not connected with these cops, these investigators that have been on this case. They bring in new people, and those new people take over. And then they can decide with their investigation whether they think that it should move towards a homicide or if it's more of something that looks like it's indicative of self-harm. But they definitely need somebody. Yeah, Angel, I'm about to put the third part on our Patreon tonight. I keep forgetting to watch it and put it on there. but I did put the other 2 parts on there. It's so good. It's so good. So this is what this is going to come over. So this is what this video is going to go over. It's going to go over like the death in apartment 603 with the director that did the 30-part docuseries. So we'll get like inside kind of information just by watching this.
As snow continued to blanket the city of
But it is really
Philadelphia
good.
on January 26, 2011, Ellen Greenberg, a school teacher, headed home to her Manayunk neighborhood apartment that she shared with her fiancé. Just hours later, he was dialing 911. He said he found Ellen, quote, on the floor with blood everywhere, before saying that she either stabbed herself or fell on a knife. Police arrived to the scene and from the beginning treated Ellen's death like a suicide. After conducting an autopsy, the medical examiner's office originally ruled her death a homicide, before reversing course and changing the manner of death to suicide. Ellen was found dead with 20 stab wounds, including multiple to the back of her neck. For the last 14 years, Ellen's parents, Sandy and Josh Greenberg, have been steadfast in their belief that their daughter was murdered and have been fighting to get justice for Ellen ever since. In February of 2025, the pathologist who originally conducted her autopsy said he now believes Ellen did not take her own life. Nancy Schwartzman, showrunner and director of Death in Apartment 603, What Happened to Ellen Greenberg, joins Forbes True Crime to discuss her new series that dives into the case. Hi everybody, I'm Brittany Lewis, the host of Forbes True Crime. Joining me now is Nancy Schwartzman, showrunner and director of Death in Apartment 603, What Happened to Ellen Greenberg. Nancy, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I am from the Philadelphia area originally, and I was there when Ellen Greenberg died in 2011. And the case throughout the years, throughout these past 14 years, has always stuck out to me because of the questions around it. Namely being that Ellen Greenberg was found with 20 stab wounds, some of them being in the back of her neck, but her death was ultimately ruled as suicide. So to start off the conversation, how did you get involved in this case? And 14 years later, why did you decide now was the time to shine the spotlight on Ellen and her family story?
Well, I just want to really acknowledge the Greenberg family. Ellen's parents have been fighting for 14 years because they know their daughter, they knew their daughter, they knew suicide didn't add up, you know, on like who she was and how she died. And they've just been asking the question for years, painstakingly walking through this process to try to reveal more answers. What happened? What did her body look like? What did the 911 call look like? Is there surveillance imagery? So we wanted to show in the series this like painstaking journey that they had to go on. Like first you're in shock, your daughter who's a few months away from getting married to the love of her life, who's experiencing some anxiety, but nothing, you know, super alarm worthy, right? And then to have this terrible shock and trauma occur and have it splash in the headlines and then kind of disappear, because once it's ruled as suicide, it just like goes away. You know, watching them and like really hearing and understanding their story, and as more information got revealed, it becomes harder and harder to accept that this could possibly be a suicide. So we also wanted to hear from like the experts who lent their time and effort. There's a, you know, veteran Philly cop who joins the investigation, Tom Brennan, free of charge, just like this doesn't sound right. There's a former attorney for the district attorney's office who's listened to 1,000 911 calls, right? It's like, we don't even understand, like law enforcement, these DAs, they like know this world really well. And this case jumped out to them, right? So we really wanted to look at, well, what is so unusual about it and what doesn't add up. So there had been this very slow build over the years, and then suddenly a lot of momentum around Ellen's case, because the family finally had gathered enough sort of evidence and video of, you know, to launch some lawsuits against the city, against the medical examiner's office and against the Supreme Court for ruling the death a suicide. So I got on board, and it was kind of really intense timing. I got on board December, and February they went to trial. So it was like, oh my God, let's go. Like, it's happening. So after 14 years, suddenly we're in the halls of City Hall and, you know, they reach a settlement, right? And the medical examiner, you know, walks back his initial finding of suicide. Literally my first day on the job, in a way, our first day with the camera. So it just, the timing has been really perfect for shining a light on this case now.
That's really incredible that was essentially your first day, but the series really shows just how painstaking this was for Ellen's parents, Josh and Sandy, and just how much they are advocating for their daughter when it seemed like a lot of those 14 years, they were almost screaming into the void. Because when you hear this story, everyone's alarm bells go up, but it seemed like nothing was getting done. And now all of a sudden, like you said, things are happening. But I'm curious to understand the process of how this all came together, because one of the most frustrating parts was that it seems like there's a lack of evidence, right? Because the police treated the scene like a suicide. So it was cleaned up by crime scene cleaners and nothing.
Yeah, we went over that on our last live. They went in and they had this apartment cleaned because Sam and his uncle was going to come back over and grab some stuff, I think for like the funeral or something like that. So the manager of the apartment complex was like, well, what do I do? Like about, like, you know, should I clean? Like, and they told her just, yeah, have people come in and clean it. So it wasn't like a maid service, right? You don't call a maid service when there's a brutality like this, a murder, I'm going to say. So they had a crime scene cleaner crew come like and sanitize. I mean, like they don't mess around when they're cleaning up the biological stuff, right? It's crazy. And thank you guys so much. Thanks, Renee. Thanks, Ladybug. And thanks, Play Nice.
It didn't seem like, or not that much was preserved from that. I mean, knowing that, how did you piece together this documentary then with the limited evidence that was available?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tricky that those things happen. So it's important to even name what happened, right? Within the first 48 hours, you are supposed to hold a scene. If you have enough questions that you're not sure, homicide, accidental, suicide, hold the scene as if it's a homicide, right? Like, protect it. So the first thing that we can always do is lay out what happened in detail and what didn't happen. So those big gaps also tell a story. You're like, wow, there wasn't a held scene. Her technology was taken off the scene. Could that have been tampered with? We don't know, but we certainly know it was removed and returned. We did have a few eyewitnesses who made statements to law enforcement.
I wonder why people do that, right? And I'm going to ask somebody, because I know it's sad that I know this person, but I do. Why do people take people's electronics or their IDs or their personal property and leave the scene with it? Unless it's for something nefarious, like you want to delete something off of it. You don't want this person to be identified right away or whatever it may be, right? But there's a reason behind it. I don't know the reason. Okay, sorry. I was just reading. The chat.
Enforcement, and we were able to talk to them in person, like the building manager, the concierge at the front desk, and a neighbor. So we were able to like get people.
I love the concierge guy that they got. Oh, I love him. Because I always thought this whole time, I don't know why I thought this, and we'll watch the video of Sam going back up from the gym by himself. But I thought the concierge, the guy went with him. And it's because I think Sam said that. And so in my brain, I was thinking he did. And then he comes out and he's like, no, I never went. I never left my post. And he didn't. It's on camera.
Were there that night and would walk the halls and see Ellen. And, you know, the concierge, Phil, is important to the story because he's the kind of doorman who would see Ellen every day. Mm-hmm. You know, he's not like a good friend, but it's the person that sees Ellen every day when she comes in and comes and goes, and kind of knew knew her excitement about the wedding. For him, it's like, how on earth could that have been a suicide? So hearing those eyewitness statements from those folks, looking at some police statements, not a lot. Then you have the 911 call, which is really, gripping and salient. And so you can really listen to it and hear it. Understanding, we actually go back to the Venislov's apartment, which is later on in the series. So really getting to sort of move around in that space, you get a sense of, where's the elevator in relation to the door? What phone calls are being made? How far away is Ellen when she's found from the door? Could it have been clear that there was a knife in her? There's all this stuff that the series goes into that's really bolstered by getting to be in the apartment with experts. That was like really important for us. So, I mean, look, I think our job in making the show is to lay out the facts and really make clear that a suicide is not the answer. That's not what happened here. We don't have definitive answers because a lot was removed or cleaned up, or 14 years later, but I think we are able to point to huge flaws in the investigation that show suicide makes no sense here.
I am really curious how you view your role as a director here, because like you said, you came onto this project after the family has been carrying this torch for 14 years. There are so many unanswered questions in this case. Do you view yourself as someone who's taking that torch for the family and continuing to carry that? Do you view yourself as someone who's talking to experts, looking at the evidence, listening to that 911 call, talking to family members, and perhaps gaining a new perspective? I mean, what does that really look like for you?
Yeah, I think, I always want to create like a 360-degree portrait of any incident or crime. And we absolutely reached out to everybody that was involved, the medical examiner, any law enforcement at the time, certainly Ellen's former fiance and his family. We would have loved to.
Why wouldn't Sam never not talk but one time? I think he did like one. I don't even know if he did actual interview with anybody. It might have been like with a paper or something, like, but it wasn't like where he was on camera. I don't know. You would think that you would want to, especially this many years later, right? The sting isn't there as much because he's married now and he's some producer somewhere and he's off living his life. But wouldn't you want to at least come back and maybe do some like the Stalky series and just kind of sit down and just talk about Ellen and how much you did love her and how much, you were looking forward to marrying her? I don't think that would hurt her reputation any, right? I mean, I know that he doesn't want to be seen as some kind of like villain, and he's probably doing the right thing by kind of like staying out of the public eye. If I was a lawyer, I'd tell him to shut up, too. But I think that it would be, if he's innocent, then it would be good for him to come out, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I bet a lawyer told him it's probably his uncle.
Hear from more people, they all refused to speak. So, we want to be mindful. This is not like this is ABC News Studios, and everything has multiple citations, and it's really held up to a very high level of journalistic integrity. So that was number one, the most important thing. Like, there are no theories, there are no, we can brainstorm ideas, but the bottom line is everything needs to be backed up with documentation and somewhat expert opinion. So my job was to gather those together and tell a really compelling story. So you understand what happened, you see a suicide designation and understand that's really unlikely, and that you don't lose Ellen's humanity, which really needed to stay at the center. Like, a lot of times I don't do projects that are sort of crime for crime's sake. Like, this is really a miscarriage of justice. This is about a grieving family. This is about something terrible that happened to this young woman and what the family's gone through from one institution to another. So I'm not a detective, I'm a director, but I do get to go to these places and choose the people that we want to weigh in and choose experts that are really, really good at their job and hear what they have to say about the evidence we were able to find and present to them.
I do want to say, because I watched this series twice now in preparation for this conversation, that A, you really relied on the facts here when telling this story, and B, through your conversations with Ellen's family, with her cousins, with her parents, with her childhood friends, and all the photos you used of Ellen, you really kept her at the center of this story, and you really kept her humanity there as well. I do now want to switch over a little bit and talk about the media's role in telling her story. Tom Brennan, a retired police officer who now works as a PI for the family for free covering this case, called all the journalists who initially covered the case, and the only one to respond was a Philadelphia Inquirer reporter, Stephanie Farr. She answered, and she wrote a story about it in 2019 entitled A Locked Room Mystery. And eyeballs were then back on this story, and it entered the conversation once again. So can you talk to us a little bit about how the media played a part in this story over the past years?
Yeah, so, in this particular case, the media on some level was the family's last hope to get anything out. And Tom Brennan, absolutely went and tried to find someone who'd be willing to do a story on this older case. And Stephanie Farr of the Philly Inquirer, she was not an investigative reporter. This was her first big investigative crime piece, right? She was covering it, but that was not her. She wasn't in the investigation department, and the piece took a year, and we are so grateful to her work and the 17 editors that signed off on the piece. So in a way, Stephanie broke the story. Wow. And the family participating with the media really is what has helped Ellen's story move forward and get circulation. And they've been really relentless in terms of pushing and making sure that people don't forget and people know the facts. So I think the media,
they really have went above and beyond, like anything that I've ever experienced, like with the parents of somebody that has been killed or suicide, either way it goes. I've never seen a set of parents like these. I mean, it's been since 2011 and they've aged a little, they've aged. It's been a long time, but they're still out there, boots on the ground. 14 years later, they're not going to let it die. They're just not. They're not going to let this, they're not going to let people forget about it. And that's some good parents.
Have really bolstered attention because they did their job. Like Stephanie Farr is a journalist. She's not an advocate, right? She's not biased either way. She's trying to get answers, and she's trying to get answers from the district attorney's office or the Philadelphia Police Department. They owe us, the public, answers, right? If there are public institutions, they should be responding to our questions, So if it wasn't for Stephanie or, for example, reporter Annie McCormick, who's been covering the case quite a bit in Philly, we'd be either in like conspiracy theory land on YouTube or there'd be silence. So I feel really grateful, and I think the family does too, that working in tandem with reporters to tell a fair, unbiased story is really sometimes the key to getting anything to change.
And to that point, that brought this story right back into not only a local conversation, because I'm still very in touch with Philly-centric news, but really a national conversation. You saw specials of this case. You saw this case on podcasts. So when you see that, how do you look at that type of coverage before you started your documentary? Do you build off that? How do you make something new when there's already been coverage of the case?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question. I don't personally dive into podcasts, but I had some people on my team who love that and are in there. And I find to me that muddies the waters a little bit, because it's very easy to, people were making statements about, let's say, Ellen's bruises on her body, right? So Ellen was found with bruising, in addition to stab wounds, there was bruising on her body in various stages of healing, which means over time. So they were older than the night of her death, right? So we can extrapolate a lot of different possible meanings there. People are going on and on with their theories online, but they haven't seen the autopsy photos. Like, part of me doesn't want to listen to anyone who has not seen the imagery, who has not looked at the paperwork, who has not talked to witnesses, right? Because anybody can come up with an opinion. We all have tons of opinions. A lot of people are creative. There's a lot of ways you can go. So for me, when I first jumped on the story, CNN had written a piece that was really fascinating, interactive piece.
Oh, sorry. This piece is, I'm going to read it to you guys next time we go live. Actually, it's good. It's really long. That's why I didn't read it tonight, because I knew we were going to be reading over other stuff tonight. But yeah,
quite inclusive. Included, some things I hadn't known before. So I think big deep dive reports that, come with paperwork that becomes public can be really, really helpful. So for me, I look at, who did they talk to? Yep, we've already talked to them. Or, we don't need to necessarily talk to this person. We have this person, it's kind of like, who are their sources? And then what are the documents they're working from? So that's kind of what I look at. In terms of podcasts where people are giving theories, like whatever, we all can come up with stuff.
And to that point, I liked what you said earlier about you don't cover crime for crime's sake. And then you see that type of kind of insidious section of the true crime world where people are just talking conspiracy theories. You're working not only in the facts, but you're also talking to victims and family members of the victims. And this is not your first time doing a documentary that delves into crime. So when you're covering something as delicate, as sensitive as this, what do you think overall of the true crime industry? Because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and you're coming at it, handling it with such care and deep dives into conversations. So what do you make of this industry?
Look, last year we soft launched my series, Sasha Reed and the Midnight Order, at CrimeCon. And it was CrimeCon in Nashville. And we were a little bit like, okay, never been to CrimeCon. Is it going to be different than Sundance? What's it like? Actually, I was so moved when I was there by how much people care about victims in that space. So I think it's a multifaceted space. And I personally was really kind of buoyed by the amount of people who want answers, who know about injustice. And, it is kind of a female-driven space because so often victims of crime are women, right? So we know intimately what it's like to feel unsafe. We've all had our own brushes with situations. So I was actually heartened by how deeply people do care within the true crime space, beyond just like, ooh, I want to solve the mystery. There's a certain human love of puzzles and mysteries, and, God bless like Agatha Christie and, all that. It's fun. Mysteries are fun. At the center of all the stories I tell, and a lot of the stories we know, is real tragedy and trauma, right? And so how do we hold space to honor the families and respect families and help them try to get justice? Is a very nebulous term, because when your loved one is taken from you, there is no justice, but you want things to, at least you want to believe in a system that can give you answers, or can, hold power to account. So I think the more people like me telling stories, and the more trust they can build with families to get their stories out there and really do it from a nuanced, ethical place, the better we are. Yeah.
This is not your first time covering a crime that has to do with injustice. You directed the documentary Victim Suspect, and that's a totally different story. But it's a story about people who go to the police to report that they were sexually assaulted, but then they ultimately get charged with the crime, whether it be making a false police report or another crime. And in both stories, there's a sense of injustice. There's also people in both documentary series that talk about, hey, I was someone who always trusted and believed in law enforcement, but then this experience happened and now I'm jaded and now that illusion is shattered. So what do you think the hardest part is from your perspective of sharing and telling these stories?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want people to walk away thinking there's no hope, because in Victim Suspect, one of our kind of shining heroes is a cop, right, whose sister was assaulted and saw within his own community of cops, like, they didn't do anything, right? And so that ignited a fire in him to really care and really do the hard work of investigating sexual assaults, right? And not letting, not letting a busy desk say, you know what, let's just let's get this case out of here, right? And I think sometimes we're also just trying to find the answer, like, why is this happening in police departments? Is it because they're overworked? Is it because they don't believe women? What is going on here? And I think always what's going on is human error, right? That's kind of the beginning, right? So maybe in Ellen's case, it was a snowstorm. It's a very low crime area. If you know Manayunk, where she was, it's cops who do not get these calls often, right? If ever in their career. And, nice lady, sad fiance. They say it's a suicide, right? So maybe that was an early mistake. And I think we need to give space to correct your mistakes, right?
Well, we
and if
did.
This is a mistake.
They did. They gave him 14 years to correct it. I mean, just saying.
Then you need to go back and correct for it. And, as they say, come correct. And then we can all.
Who says that? Is that an actual term? Come correct? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Never heard of it before. What did she say?
For it. And, as they say, come correct. And then we can all say, okay, we're all operating from the same playing field. A mistake was made and now you guys are going to try to course correct. And
I guess there is
thank you for acknowledging, right? So I think, Tom Brennan is a beautiful example of law enforcement who does care, right? So it is hard because the big institutions kind of.
Okay. Come correct. Mainly in African American usage. Behave appropriately and respectfully. That's what it means. That's what it says. What does come correct mean? Come correct mean in slang? To behave properly, seek respectfully, or be truthful. Okay.
Rally around each other, and they're hard to crack if a mistake is made. But I always like to make sure we're shining a light on the individuals who do care, who are making a difference, who are lending their talents and experience to trying to right the wrongs.
And earlier this year, it seems like some wrongs are attempted to be righted. The Greenbergs scored some legal victories. The doctor who performed Ellen's autopsy said he no longer can say she died by suicide, and the city's medical examiner's office said they will reopen and review her death. You spent a good amount of time working on this project. You talked with the Greenbergs for hours on end. You've worked with them. What do you hope comes out of this for them?
Yeah, I mean, we are very close to getting an answer from the city. They ruled, they had a settlement on February 3rd, and they were supposed to re-examine and give an answer in an expeditious amount of time. And then it's like 8-9 months later. Yeah, so 8-9 months later. A judge pulled them. A judge had the city respond to, hey, where's the re-examination on September 3rd, which was like 2 weeks ago, right? So now,
no, it was a month ago.
We believe that I think this will hold October 14th. The medical examiner's office has to give their answer.
Oh,
so
2 days.
We're, weeks away from the family hearing if the Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office, upon re-examination, is going to say that actually, we need to call this undetermined, we don't know,
That
or
would
we're going
be
to call
okay.
this a homicide, or if they're going to double down and call it a suicide. So we really don't know. We're like hanging in the balance. What I hope for the family is that they
One
feel
of the
that
two.
a thorough reexamination was done and the outcome
Yeah.
matches the evidence. So even with a cleaned up crime scene, Ellen's body tells a story, and it's to my mind a very clear story. It's to many medical experts included, a very clear story. So I think the Greenbergs would like some truth coming out of the institutions.
I mean, even if they say they don't know, like they don't, you know what I mean? Like they don't know, like maybe, right? He hasn't been to CrimeCon now, but he's been to Vegas. I know. I think that's what it is. Playing. He must be to show me.
To that point, experts, the Greenbergs
He hasn't seen me get wild though. I should wild out while I'm there.
themselves and the rest of the family, they believe that Ellen died by
I don't even think they questioned him. I don't even think they did.
homicide. I know then Attorney General, now Governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, believes that evidence pointed to, at the time, suicide. When you're going through the making of this documentary and all of these conversations and looking at the evidence and going through that 911 call, did your perspective change at all? Or did you think, hey, there were some serious questions here and this just confirmed what I believed at the beginning?
I think there are absolutely questions that I do not have the answer to because there are no cameras. I wasn't there. I think anyone who thinks they know exactly what happened in this time frame, like I think that kind of stuff, that's where I get very hesitant because there's a lot of stuff we do not know. But I think, for me, which is also why I included the visuals of what happened to Ellen, normally I wouldn't do that, right? I wouldn't show graphic imagery of someone if it was just a clear cut. I mean, you might need to know this was what is called overkill, because 20 stab wounds is generally deemed overkill. It's not 3, it's 20. So because the city was doubling down on continuing to call this suicide, it was important for me to show the blunt force trauma wounding on the back of her head and the multiple wounding. Like that is it's so stark. So I think the bruising also indicated something else was going on as well. So I think diving really deeply in, there are more questions I have, but certainly calling this a suicide is something I would never believe.
Death in Apartment 603, What Happened to Ellen Greenberg, is out now. Where can people find it?
They can find it on September 29th. They can find it on Hulu.
Nancy Schwartzman, thank you so.
Or you can find it on my Patreon. I was just thinking, I was like, wait a minute. I think that there was some stuff. I think that they went too hard. I think that they went, okay, they probably interviewed Sam. He was the only, he's the only one on scene that's alive when they get there. They probably, I mean, the concierge, no one went up with him, right? So I think he actually went down and then the firemen or whatever went up with him. But he ends up going upstairs with them. Needless to say, they probably did an interview with him. He probably said, I can't believe she did this to herself. She must have been really stressed out about school. And maybe they just took him at his word. It was a snowstorm. I'm not saying that they wanted to go home, but I'm not saying that they didn't want to go home. So they may have just been like, oh, suicide, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You know what I mean? It's a little bit easier to just call it like that and then tell people to clean up the scene and leave than if it was a murder and you have to pull everybody out of the crime scene, tape it off, and then go in there and take pictures and do all the things. The only reason why we have pictures of the actual crime scene is because of the manager of the apartment complex. She went up and she was like, if something happens, like something gets stolen and this ain't coming back on me. And that was a smart move. That was a smart move, lady. So she got pictures of the crime scene. She was very smart to do that. So no, the concierge, yeah. So the concierge never, yeah. So he never even went up with him. He was trying to get him to like go up with him. And like, it's weird because I always thought that the concierge guy did until, we watched the docuseries and I was like, oh, he never went up. And then I came over here and I told you guys, I was like, I never knew that. But I think that's all I've got for you for tonight. But there's so much there's so much for this case. We're going to be, we can go for months, but we get to hear something in a couple of days. I didn't realize it was so soon. So I'm excited to hear about what they're going to say. I truly hope that they either call it like, hey, we don't know what happened to Ellen, or it's a homicide. My personal opinion, I don't know if I see them going from suicide to homicide. I see them more going to an undetermined, but hopefully they will really work this case and give it the attention it deserves. Just at least look at the autopsy and read it and look at the pictures and look at the house. You ain't got to look at the house. Just look at the autopsy and the knife and see if you can do it. See if you can stab yourself in the back with that knife, because I don't think you could do it. Yeah, I think so too. I think he wanted him to be a witness to him like busting in the door or something. Yeah, he did say the concierge did. Yeah, now we know. I know, I can believe that. Yeah, and CrimeCon it is this. It's in May 29th through May 31st. I'm not sure if anything's going on in Vincent's world other than working those days, but I'm sure you'd want to go. Okay, now we gotta get tickets because they went on sale September 15th. They might be sold out by the time I get some. Don't do it to me. I need CrimeCon to invite me. I'm a good content creator and I'm a trustworthy content creator and I'm nice. And I don't have a big old potty mouth. So, hello, Nancy. I'm about to put your cardboard cutout back up here. Because, it's at the Caesars, it said, I think. It's at the Caesars Palace. Vincent ain't got none of them like room comps or anything. He doesn't. But it would be fun to go. It really would. It really would. Now, I guess Sam Goldberg did come out and do like a little bit of an interview. So we'll watch that on next live too. Because I had to come on early today because I think it might be Memorial Day weekend. I don't know. I don't think they would do it on Memorial Day weekend, but that sounds like it, doesn't it? But tomorrow I have to go to the dentist in the morning. This week's so busy for me. I'm like, it's my birthday week. What am I doing? So our lives will be different times this week. I'll put it on the community tab like each night, like what time the live will start. But just make sure your bell icon's on and it's on all notifications. And then if you're using your cell phone or like a tablet, make sure you go into your settings, your actual settings, like your tablet settings, and go to your apps and go to YouTube and make sure that one allows notifications, because that one could be turned off. So you could be not getting any notifications for anybody. That would be good. All things play nice. Every once in a while I'll cuss, but it's not very often. I try to be respectful. But yeah, I gotta go to the dentist tomorrow, get my teeth cleaned. So, and they're gonna mess with that tooth. They're gonna check it. I'm hoping that I can get like 2 more months before this tooth gives me any trouble. And then I can get the implant put in. I'm like, it's like 2 months. Just give me, it's always that, right? Just a couple more months until they say no more months. Your tooth says no more months. But yeah, oh, and I need to show you guys that place that I went to for physical therapy the other day. That place is so legit. I'm about to like go next door and get a little season pass at the swimming pool with the little water slide there. Thanks, Citizen. It's coming up. It's not tonight, but it's coming up. It's Friday. But thank you. It's coming quick. I am going to do Monday through Friday. I think I'm going to do like a week of different outfits, different cute outfits, because I bought a bunch of cute outfits and I don't know why I bought them all. Like, I have nowhere to go. $381 a night. Whew. Dang. That's a lot. I mean, it'd be worth it. And then we can go out to California. You know? Yeah. I think it'd be fun. Be fun to get a group of us to go. We're all staying in Renee's room. We're all just going to stay with you. We're all just going to stay with you in the hubby. And it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But yeah, no, I have like a full week, but it'll be fine. It's just doctor's appointments. I have like 2 in one day on Wednesday. I think it is Wednesday. Tuesday, I get my hair done. I thought something else happened. I have another appointment. Oh man, where's my book? Is it just Monday and Wednesday? Maybe. I think on Tuesday I get my hair done though. Your husband had to wait 4 months and then they had to do something. He has to wait again 4 months. Oh my gosh, that sucks. They want to get mine done. They have to do the screw first, like the titanium screw. And then they give you, and I'm not telling you guys when this is happening. Actually, I probably will because you know me. I got a big mouth. But they're going to give me like a partial to put in. And then I'm going to be like, I just told them to make sure it looks natural. As good as we can. And then you have to wait because you have to wait for that to like heal. And then you get the tooth. I don't know. Where's Edinburgh? Edinburgh. Sounds like fun. Oh, really? They have discount codes? Oh, thanks, PKC. They didn't give me a discount code. What the heck? What the heck, YouTube, Google, whoever runs this show? I'm over here just, minding my own beeswax. Ready to be signed. I'm just kidding. Oh, it's in Scotland. Oh, I bet it's nice. That's where Isabel's from. Scotland. I like the Scottish accents. I like any accents. My PT guy has an accent. I don't know where it's from. I'll have to ask him. It sounds like Australian or something. It's adorbs. Wherever he's from, it's adorable. But it's not very thick, but it's just enough where it's there. But yeah, so it'll be cold. Oh, it hasn't got too bad over here in the U.S. Not in Ohio anyway. But I think I'm gonna jump off of here. I'm gonna I think it's like a flapper, almost like a flapper. They said that it's more. I think it's like a little bit different material, maybe. I don't know what they were saying. I'm just like, just get it. Let's just start this process. Can we just do them all instead of veneers? I just want them all redone. Let's start over. But thanks for hitting the like tonight. Thanks for the super chats and all that. That's really appreciate that, guys. You guys are so sweet to me. And I have to get used to this new setup. It's like so crazy. But I like that the camera is there because it's just, I don't know. I feel like I can see you guys better. You can see me better more than I can see you. But I feel like when you can see me better, I can see you better. I don't know. Even though it doesn't make much sense. And you can see back here, you can see my little pumpkin pillow. And then you can see over here on this side. Like you can actually see that white table. You guys have never seen that, I don't think. Oh, and that's supposed to be the little, it's messed up. Mia was up there, but it's the little, let me go fix them now. It's the snowman. Or not snowman, the ghost snowman. I saw white. The little ghost that Reba got me. It's super cute. Oh, I hope you had a good weekend too. Yeah, we're just getting ready to get off here. And then, my little pumpkin back there. It's so cute. And that pumpkin back there, if I put it out in the kitchen, I could just have the lights go through it too. Like the sunlight. My mom used to have, I still have them actually. I don't have a lot of my mom's stuff. I got rid of a lot of it because it was just like a couch, a chair. Do you know what I mean? It was like random stuff. And she would told me, it's not your vibe. Get rid of it. But there are these little snowflakes and they're that same kind of like design where the light goes through it. And then it like shoots off all these different lights. And that's what that reminded me of, the pumpkin version. I still have those. There's little snowflakes. I think one's a snowflake and one's a heart. I'm missing the other snowflake. My brother probably has it. But yeah. But thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I appreciate it. If you guys are watching on replay, thank you for watching on a replay. Let me know what you guys think of this case in the comment section below. Also, if you guys don't mind, whenever we're done with the live, if you want to go back through and hype the video, that really helps send it out into the algorithm. But I think you guys did a really good job tonight as well. So I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful Monday, and I will see you guys all very soon. Bye, guys.
Just like a spark that's breaking out, can't make a stop.